Turn
now to the strange tale of an American tech mogul at the center of an international murder mystery.
Now becoming synonymous with drugs, paranoia, and the mysterious murder of McAfee's neighbor.
He invented the very first antivirus software, was a Bitcoin millionaire, wanted by 3 governments, hacked into the US government supposedly, married a prostitute sent to assassinate him, and yes, faked a heart attack so he could escape from jail. And if you're thinking that's all fabricated, trust me, it isn't. This is the untold story of the wildest entrepreneur the world has ever seen. A story so outrageous, even Hollywood couldn't keep up. This is the story of none other than John McAfee. One of the experts tweeted his story saying, John McAfee was the wildest entrepreneur in history. But how? Let's get deep into the story. Before having a fugitive status, John McAfee was a software engineer, a pretty damn good one. Born in 1945 in the UK and raised in Virginia, McAfee didn't exactly have a cozy upbringing. His father was a drunk who abused him and ultimately shot himself when John was just 15. The trauma never went away. In fact, it likely defined him. Fast forward to the 1980s. John works at Lockheed Martin. That's when he encounters a computer virus by the name of Brain. It infects MS-DOS systems and replicates itself like crazy. And John, he's fascinated. So he develops something the world has never seen before, a virus fighting program. It's awkward, it's primitive, but it works. He named it McAfee Virus Scan, and overnight, a billion-dollar cybersecurity industry is born.
Virus expert John McAfee, president of a newly formed Computer Virus Association, helps companies recover from attacks.
But here's the irony. He hated corporate life. In 1994, John sold everything and he disappeared. That's all. Most CEOs would have retired quietly. Not him. Because for McAfee, the ride was just beginning. John McAfee constructed his own empire in the jungles of Belize. He was surrounded by young women who were mostly still in their teens. But what made headlines was his neighbor, Gregory Fall. Fall had filed complaints with police about McAfee's erratic behavior and dogs. Fall was shot in the head days later, dead. And guess who the #1 suspect was? Yup, John McAfee.
Let me make this perfectly clear. I had nothing to do with the murder of Gregory Fall.
Instead of cooperating, he went on the run. And here's where it becomes completely dramatic. McAfee does eventually make it into Guatemala with the aim of seeking asylum, but he gets caught. And this is where he does one of the most legendary pranks in fugitive history. He fakes a heart attack in the Guatemalan prison, collapses, ambulance, sirens, and it worked.
And he was rushed from here in an ambulance and taken to a nearby police hospital where he was checked out for several hours. We went over there. The authorities said that really it looked like he was suffering from stress and maybe was also suffering chest pains. His attorney, though, says it was actually a minor.
Doctors later explained he was perfectly healthy. This is John McAfee, a man so allergic to the law, he'll croak on demand to stay out of jail. But meanwhile, back in America, John McAfee lies low for like a nanosecond. And then he marries a former prostitute named Janice Dyson. But there's another angle to the romance. Janice herself said she was approached by gang members to kill McAfee. Instead, she fell for him. Let that sink in. He actually married a woman who was sent to assassinate him. If you think this is right, yes, it is. And the craziest part, he knew. Over the next few years, McAfee began claiming that he had hacked the US government. He sent laptops to the US government with spyware and hacked Hillary Clinton's office. Now, whether this was real or just another typical McAfee delusion, no one knows. But government officials definitely did take notice. They already were on to him, and now he was essentially calling out for arrest. Which gets us to the second scene of this opera of disorder, Crypto McAfee. When crypto erupted in popularity, John McAfee jumped full on into it. He began sprouting impossible claims, like that Bitcoin would top $1 million by the year 2020. Spoiler alert, Bitcoin never hit 1 million. But it wasn't all memes. McAfee used his platform to pump coins, charging up to $100,000 per tweet to promote them, according to reports. The SEC eventually charged him with fraud and failing to disclose payments for promotion. It was classic McAfee. Part genius, part grifter, all mayhem. And yet, people listened. Some followed him like crazy. Others tuned in for the train wreck. Either way, he could not be ignored. By 2020, John McAfee had warrants against him in 3 countries. The US wanted him for tax evasion and fraud. Police still had him as a person of interest in a murder case. Spain eventually arrested him on the orders of US authorities. But even in prison, McAfee kept tweeting. He tweeted, "I have friends here. The food is good. All is well. Know that if I hang myself a la Epstein, it will be no fault of mine." That tweet would haunt the world, because just months later, John McAfee was discovered dead in a Spanish prison cell. June 23, 2021. A Spanish court had just granted his extradition to the US hours after he's found hanging in his cell. Official cause, suicide.
Sarah, antivirus software entrepreneur John McAfee has reportedly been found dead in his Spanish jail cell just hours after Spain's national court ordered his extradition to the United States. Catalan Justice Department telling Reuters in a statement that all signs point to suicide.
Within minutes, though, the internet blew up with conspiracy theories, though. His own tweet warned he'd never kill himself. He told reporters repeatedly he had dirt on powerful people, and to this day, his death just doesn't seem right to many. There are those that think he lives. There are those that figure he was murdered. Others claim this was just the biggest twist in a story too ridiculous to have taken any other path. Whatever the truth is, John McAfee didn't just die. He died on his own terms, just like the way he lived. John McAfee was not just a software pioneer. He was a hurricane contained in one man, a human paradox, a poster child for what happens when genius and madness are dumped into the same glass and shaken with rage. He was admired, he was hated, he was envied, he was feared, but above all, he was free, unapologetically. In an age of corporate sanitized CEOs and photoshopped billionaires, McAfee was a rebel. And maybe that's why we still talk about him. Because in an age where tech titans beg to be noticed with press releases and keynote speeches, McAfee did it via shotgun, smile, and a tweet that can crash your coins. This wasn't the story of a tech mogul gone bad. It was a warning. That greatness doesn't come bundled neatly in a hoodie and a venture capital backing. Sometimes it's tattoos, a backpack of cash, and a disappearing act. And if you think this is where the story is going to end, believe me, it never does. Now, what do you think about John's story? Was he really dead, or did some stunt to be free? Or what lessons do you get out of his story? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, as this is just the beginning.